While some child actors achieve what most only dreamt of, it's hard to say they have it best. Be it the music industry or in the acting industry, most famous child celebrities have exhibited the same trend. Meet the Home Alone superstar Macauly Claucin, whose highly publicized childhood ensured her transition to adulthood.
It calls for you to have a childhood and try to figure out life and then become a man and try to find yourself and then try to find your path. And by the time he became a man, he was already famous. And the same thing with you. You were already famous as you were developing and learning.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how to like kind of even describe it because it's always the way my life has been.
From the early 90s all the way to the early 2010s, celebrities had a much more crazed fan base, unlike in today's society where interaction with a celebrity is one sweet away. Though Mac got busted for possession of marijuana, he claimed to have never had a drug problem, just to be hooked on cocaine years later.
You know, everything that I do, for some reason, becomes this big crazy thing, you know, even though any normal person does it. Like, yeah, I'm a kid, I had a beer, you know, I smoked a joint, big deal. You know what I'm saying? And it's not something I make a thing out of or anything like that.
Sharing a common upbringing with Michael Jackson, his father raised him strictly in the acting business.
Did you have any say in whether or not you worked when you were young?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
Like it was after a while it became, like I said, a job, and it was I never chose the projects. They were like my parents, like, you know, essentially like chose them for me.
So they were
was
like,
kind of
good news, Macauly.
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah. They called
You're
me
gonna
Macauly.
buy us a new house.
yeah, there you go. You know, and like I never read any of the scripts. Like I would just read like the lines for like the next day or whatever. Like I would like get the gist of what the movie was about, but then I just kind of show up and hit my marks, find my light. And recite my lines. You know,
so surreal.
It's kind of just like again, like it's what you do,
right?
Like it's like in the same way that like kids go to like school or something like that. Like, you know, you fall into a routine to a certain extent.
Being an actor was his father's dream that he forced upon his 7 children. Macauly just turned out to be the most successful, hence the backbone of the family, at only 6 years of age. Before his 13th birthday, he was entirely fed up and wanted nothing to do with acting. Around the same time, his bond with Michael Jackson had gone public and even had to make a court appearance to deny the allegations.
You know,
How did you first get to meet him?
I first met him, he kind of called me randomly, like out of the blue. He was just kind of like, hi, it's Michael. And I was like, hey. And the thing
This was after Home Alone?
This is after Home Alone.
And what happened at the house? That's what all these things that people are concerned
that's what's
about.
so weird, you know.
What did happen?
Nothing happened, you know.
Nothing.
I mean, nothing really. I mean, we played video games, you know. We played it at his amusement park. Well, the thing is with that whole thing is that, you know, they go, oh, you slept in the same bedroom as him. It's like, I don't think you understand. Michael Jackson's bedroom is 2 stories.
Mark would appear in movies from as young as 4 years and landed some bangers, the most famous one being Home Alone. His parents were running a theater, and whenever child actors were needed, the only questions asked were what age and gender. To everyone's surprise, Mark was a way better dancer and actor as he was super daring, a quality that made the producers instantly choose him for most roles. Starting off with Uncle Bucks, he quickly became the breadwinner, and with that came more movie roles. Just like that, Mark was a figure in Hollywood, and his life was about to change immensely. Russian producer John Hughes would come up with the idea of Home Alone. While he was packing for a vacation, he wrote down a list to help him keep track of everything. The idea of a kid left at home alone came to mind, and he immediately started writing. Having worked with Mark before, the plot was tailor-made specifically for him. Home Alone was released on November of 1990 and quickly became iconic. Mark was cashing in $8 million per movie, which equates to $16 million in today's value. Behind the scene, fame started catching up to him slowly but surely. Due to child labor laws at the moment, he was allowed to work for a maximum of 10 hours provided a parent was present. A perfect ticket for his father to make an appearance daily.
You disliked him all through it.
Yeah, and he disliked me too. Like, we didn't like each other.
Really?
Yeah. But then all of a sudden, imagine this man who you dislike kind of thing, and he dislikes you. Now I become the sole, focus of him when I start earning. So now all of a sudden I'm like, you know, going around the country, like locked in a room with a guy who doesn't like me kind of thing. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's...
Well, how does that, why?
I was kind of even like relatively jealous, you know.
Well, sure. Oh, he was jealous.
I think so. I everything that he tried to do in his life, like, I excelled at, like, before I was 10 years old. He was a bad man. Like, honestly, he was a bad man. He was abusive and, like physically and mentally.
Just when everything was going on smoothly, Mark would quit acting altogether. He would be involved in a series of addictions before getting his life together, unlike Janet McCurdy, as expressed in her book, I'm Glad My Mom Died. The Icarly star has gone through a series of similar predicaments in her upbringing.
The air in the house felt like a held breath.
Not only was it chaotic because of
the abuse that was happening and my mom's violent and erratic, unstable behavior, but also because we all lived in fear of her cancer coming back.
Jeanette got into acting at 6 years of age. She had her first commercial success in the year 2007 in the show Icarly, where she was one of the main characters. Here, the character Samantha Paquette was built. Dan Schneider saw how the two characters' contradicting behavior could potentially result in an epic show. A short spin-off series Sam and Kat was created relying solely on the bond between Sam and Kat. From all the wonderful shows she had at Nickelodeon, he was seen as a genius in the production world. Part of the reason nobody foresaw his shady doings until it was too late.
Sentence number 3. I'm soaking wet! Quick, somebody bring me the ocean! No one would ever say that. Why? Because if you were soaking wet and you were upset about it, the last thing you'd want is for somebody to bring you the ocean. Because the ocean is even more wet than even the wettest person in the world. Have you ever tried to get your whole big toe in your mouth? Check this out. Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice from a potato. Is it possible for a teenage girl to drink water upside down? I'm thirsty. It's not possible. This has been me in a video. Come on, give up the juice. Can you imagine what life would be like with hippopotamus teeth? Wow, like I bet nobody else on earth has ever said those exact words that I just said. That happens to me a lot. So now, just for fun, I'm gonna say 3 sentences that I bet not one person has ever said before in the history of mankind. Sentence number 1. Oh man, my uvula got stuck between that hamster's toes. See? That could never happen because your uvula is that swingy thing in the back of your throat right here. So there's no way you could get it stuck between a hamster's toes. Sentence number 3. I'm soaking wet! Quick, somebody bring me the ocean! No one would ever say that. Why? Because if you were soaking wet and you were upset about it, the last thing you'd want is for somebody to bring you the ocean. Because the ocean is even more wet than even the wettest person in the world. Have you ever tried to get your whole big toe in your mouth? Check this out. Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice from a potato.